Ladies and gentlemen, I am SidAlpha, and wow, we've got multiple dirty devs back to back. And as the sky is blue and the day is long, the scummiest of the dirty devs are those that seek to censor criticism and critique. Couple that with a high likelihood for a potential scam, and one could easily deduce why. And as is befitting a great many developers that have found their way into these not-so-hallowed halls, we'll be taking a look at the ARG 3024 People by Bakoden Game Studios and the spurious DMCA Strike they've filed against fellow YouTuber Jean for covering this game. Jean is, as I said, a fellow YouTuber with just a little over 2,000 subscribers currently. Approximately 3 months ago, Jean released a video which was an in-depth coverage of the ARG game 3024 People, and did so to a very high standard. Now, in that video, he discussed the gameplay, or lack thereof, and the issues with this game, along with its NFT elements that raised a lot of red flags and showed this game to be a potential scam. Then, nearly a week ago, potentially after the developer noticed that Jean's video was the third video listed when a person would search for the game on Google, Jean received a DMCA strike on his video that contained within it a timer. Now, this is something that I don't have a great deal of experience with. I mean the timer, not the DMCAs, of course. Normally, when we see a DMCA strike filed on a video, it is set to be pulled down immediately. However, it would seem since I last reviewed the YouTube page for DMCA takedowns, they've since made some additional changes, which I suppose just goes to show how long in the tooth I am if it's been that long since anyone has managed to successfully file a DMCA strike against me that YouTube didn't just automatically dismiss. But currently, when a person or entity goes to file a DMCA takedown of a video, they're provided with two options. The standard removal, which is what we have all been accustomed to seeing, and the 7-day window option, which provides the YouTube content creator the option to self-remove the video without receiving a copyright strike on their channel. One additional new feature that I see here as well is the option for the copyright claimant to have YouTube prevent copies of the video or videos in question from being re-uploaded elsewhere on YouTube. This is likely utilizing the Content ID system they already have in place. Now, this may seem less potentially damaging to the creator with this 7-day option to simply self-remove, but I suspect that this action on the part of the developer is not being done out of directed malice or hatred towards Jean that we have seen in the past with people like Dentola Studios, Dallas Games, Alex Maurer, Acerthorn, and Andrew Watt. It would seem that while this is very much a silencing of legitimate critique, it is done so merely to prevent that critique from reaching the eyes and ears of potential customers. And what's more, unless and until the video goes down, Jean has no option or avenue open to him to dispute this video takedown until the video actually goes down. Now, I have reviewed the video in question. At the time when I asked for an offline copy, I did not realize that the video had not been taken down yet, and at the time of my recording this, the video is actually still up on YouTube and will be until July 9th. As such, there will be a link to Jean's video in the pinned comment down below. However, Jean was kind enough to provide me with an offline copy, which I reviewed in its entirety, and as is often the case in these scenarios, his video and his usage of 3024 People's game within it are absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, fair use. And this is one of those rare moments where we see a DMCA takedown in process, it's been filed, the video is scheduled to be removed in 2 days, and you all, as a viewer, have the opportunity to go see the video before it goes down. Now, as I said, I've been speaking with Jean, and I have also offered my help in crafting the counter notification to this takedown, as he is about as experienced in handling spurious DMCA takedowns as I was when my channel was his size. But one of the good things to come out of dealing with all these shady and or scam developers over the years, I've learned how to speak YouTube's language when it comes to combating these, so I'm only too happy to be of assistance to Jean in this matter and help signal boost what he's dealing with here. After all, you should remember that for a YouTuber, very little scares a content creator more than the damage that can be caused by DMCA strikes like these. One is a very firm slap on the wrist, which carries with it a very clear and present threat, where a YouTuber will have to be very careful with their content for at least 90 days following that. A second strike removes your ability to livestream and limits the length of your videos. A third strike will see your channel wiped from the face of existence for all time. All of that hard work wiped away. And this baseball method of handling such things by YouTube, as while the DMCA takedown process is due to and for the United States copyright law, the strike system is entirely YouTube mechanic, is one that is rife with abuse, particularly for smaller creators who are not afforded live eyeballs on the part of YouTube for most DMCA takedowns. They simply just push them through, sight unseen. So what are some of the critiques John had with this game? Well, firstly, there are actually a lot of critiques I have with the game myself. The game itself, which I have confirmed, is a mere 258 megabytes, not gigabytes, of data. Now, of that, 178 megabytes are MP3 files collected from both Replica Studios for some very badly done AI voiceover, as well as from Fesleyan Studios, which provides royalty-free background music and sound effects, where the last small bits of data are their picture files, DLL files, and their whopping 17 kilobytes executable. Now, when you launch the game, you're met with text-only PNG files, and the game itself contains within it absolutely zero graphics. The game does direct you to a separate website, of which they couldn't even be bothered to create a link on the screen there, so you have to type it out yourself. The game walks you through some very basic movement with a black screen being led around by terribly done AI voice acting, which caused me to stop the gameplay there. Now, I then went and checked out the website for myself, and it is bog standard for what you would expect for a low-effort AR game that is trying to be more than it is. And when I mean terrible AI voice acting, it is because this person obviously has no experience in how often AI mistakes words, so you sometimes have to get creative with the spelling to get it to sound correctly. And also, the dialogue, while meant to be coming from a character that is a native English speaker, seems to have been run through something even worse than Google Translate and then copy-pasted it into the AI system, which is Replica Studios. Now, here is an example of that.
I am pancreatic cancer. I don't have much time left. I won't be able to finish what I started. I need to hand over this task so that all my years of effort is not wasted and to show the real face of this company to the world. Because of my obsession with exposing this company, my social circle could not expand much.
And originally, this was a game that required a $50 NFT being sold on OpenSea. And this is due to the puzzle mechanic that the developer is calling a slot operation, which involves 3,024 people, hence the name of the game, each with their own NFT purchased to be capable of participating, that they then must use a unique code which cannot be duplicated by any of the other 3,024 people within a special Discord chat room, which would see all 3,024 people posting their individual unique code at the same time within a 10-minute period. Which, even laying the logistical nightmare aside, Discord's own system limitations would make this all but, if not completely impossible to do, due to the limitations the system imposes. It simply bogs out, it lags out on itself. Not to mention, an indie game would have to be really special to ever hope to achieve over 3,000 active people at the same time, all trying to input their own unique code with zero overlapping, which would mean a highly coordinated group of 3,000 people, which, let's face it, is going to be, for all intents and purposes, impossible. This is clearly evidenced within John's video, where he showcased a Twitch streamer known as Selbit, who was attempting another simpler puzzle within the 3024 Discord along with his chat. This puzzle has those involved inputting commands to have the bot push up on the green lines to try and line them all up. This attempt was made by 35 people, a far cry from 3,024, and even that mere 35 people attempting to solve that puzzle, the Discord server itself was unable to keep up with the message load involved, which meant that by the time the message to cue the bot was finally unspooled on Discord, the pin of the lock, as it were, had already reset. So, given that limitation, it is highly unlikely that even if 3,024 unique individuals could be coordinated to utilize their own unique code, that they would all be able to have their post actually count within the 10-minute time period. It's absolutely insane. Now, that original $50 NFT requirement has since been removed, and it's been replaced with simply proving that you own the game on Steam or the Epic Store. And that's been done due to what seems to be a lack of interest in what is clearly an extremely low-budget and low-effort game. The developer has had to lower the price of the game multiple times as well. Now, in addition to the low-effort game itself, the website and its video feeds are not some sort of puzzle for the ARG fans, except for perhaps for them to find the locations, but even that is simply pulled directly from the municipality website of Izmir in Turkey, to the point where the developer just decides to block off the logo of the municipality in the upper right corner of some of those feeds where that logo is present. Which makes me wonder if this municipality provided this developer with permission to make use of the municipality's camera feeds within their commercial product. Something tells me they likely didn't. Now, I feel that Jean did do an excellent job with his coverage of this game, particularly with his critique, and I don't want to duplicate his work too much here. So I'll leave it to him and his video to explain everything, which is again linked down in the pinned comment below. From what I've seen of his channel, his goals are similar to what mine are and have been, and so I feel comfortable signal boosting his content to you all. Regardless, what we're left here with is this quote-unquote game that I'm sure it might be nice or at least interesting to those who are fans of the ARG genre, but is one that is unlikely to see widespread adoption, especially considering the lack of gameplay within this game, if you could call it that. Now, I did attempt to reach out to the developer when I was first talking with Jean to see what I could do to simply have the DMCA strike lifted, as this was clearly and without a doubt fair use. However, after several days, the developer has steadfastly refused to respond to either of us. So what we're left with here is a garbage game where even the ARG elements are implemented in such a way that is likely to cause the puzzles to never be solved due to server limitations, who is actively selling this joke of a product on Steam and the Epic Game Store, and who has decided that silencing critique was just a fantastic way to make sure the top search results are positive in nature. But I've said it before, and I will say it again as many times as it takes. Critique is important. It is vital to the video games industry. Games developers such as these do not want honest critique and open information to be out there in the wild, because that critique serves to better inform the consumer and will help them to be better armed when making decisions about game purchases. And as such, silencing critique in this way, a manner that actively harms the critic for daring to say something about the game that the developers do not like, is absolutely abhorrent. It is anti-consumer, and it is always a massive red flag to avoid this and any future product from such a developer like the plague. Now, as I said, Jean's video will be up for another day or two, and once it is down, if he needs help with filing the counterclaim, I will absolutely make myself available to him. In the meantime, please go show his channel some love, tell him SidAlpha sent you, and do us both a favor and share this video around. Let's make sure the developer knows that when you attempt to silence fair and honest critique, it will only cause the Streisand effect to kick in and make even more content creators know what you have done and how you are attempting to hide the truth from your potential customers. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, I am SidAlpha, and I'll see you next time.